When I was about 4 years old, I can remember during the month of October, it was very rainy. And because we live in a rural country, we couldn't go outside for the bathroom. So I did it in my trousers. And I got such a beating for doing that. Looking back now, I think that was child abuse, so to speak. But I could understand what their emotion or motive was. You know. But really speaking, one of my best memories is that when I was about 10 or so, I was coming from school. And in those days, there weren't many vehicles on the road, so it was very lonely. And one Friday afternoon, I was coming from school and walking along North Street in Kingston. I saw a picture of Jesus in the distance with all the angels coming down. And that was so beautiful. And I wish I could have died then.
How old were you then?
I maybe about 10 or so, you know. And that was true conversion. I fell in love with Jesus and hope and wish that I would just die and go home with him.
At the age of 10?
At the age of 10, yes. It's beautiful. And that impression has lived with me all my life. And when I say that to folks, that at 10 you can really fall in love with someone. And even earlier than that, as I recall, I fell in love with her as a girl. I've never spoken to her. I've seen her, I was passing her home, going to the shops, and I saw this beautiful little girl. I just want to be with her. Nothing out of the sexual whatever, but just somebody I want to be with.
At age 10, right? What was your neighborhood like compared to now?
Well, living in Kingston, my neighborhood was pretty quiet where I lived. Not many people around, and I was a very quiet child. Not boasting, but I was a good child, very obedient. If my mom would say to me, "Don't do this" or "Don't go there," I would obey, you know. Except for one time, I disobeyed her, and I paid the consequence.
Now that you mentioned your parents, real quick, tell me something that you learned from each of them.
Well, my father, I was afraid of him in terms of, it wasn't father-like for me. I'd rehearse what I'd like. If I want to ask him for something, I would rehearse it in my mind. But when I see him, I'm ready to ask, I'll just clam up.
And your mother is different?
Much different. And my mother always prayed for me. And, you know, I could ask her. She did everything for me. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier about seeing the falling angels at age 10.
Yeah.
Can you tell me something a decision that you made in your life that changed the whole direction of your life?
Yeah, because of that. Because my mom, then I lived with my mom most of the time, and she prayed for me. She taught me what to be a Christian living, even though it wasn't, I didn't understand fully. But in my heart, then I know that I want to be in heaven with Jesus. And that might have been, thinking about it now, maybe an answer to my prayer, you know. And so I've always wanted to live a Christian life. Not that I'm perfect, because, you know, you get distracted and so on, sidetracked and so on. But generally speaking, it's always been my wish and desire to live a Christian life. All the days of my life up to this time.
Okay. Have you ever had anything in your life like a disaster that you realize or it turned out to be a whole blessing?
Yes. I maybe one of the earliest ones. I didn't have an easy childhood. You know, for instance, maybe I was about 14 when I lived in Kingston. We were homeless. Something went wrong with the house, it fell. And it was very, very, very difficult to accept. And that's when I had to be sent back to live in the country. There was no church there, and I really missed being in Kingston. And so I had to work very hard. When other children had a pair of shoes, for instance, I didn't. When they were able to go out and play, I didn't. But later on it paid dividend, because those hard lives, which I thought it was hard, was really machine was shaping my life and shaping my the way I see my perspective, the way I see things. Yeah.
And if you should go back now and looking at your 25-year-old self,
Yeah.
what would you say to him that you know now?
If I,
Like one thing that you would say to him that you know now.
yeah. Well, always trust in God, because I've got many experiences. Because I trust in God, it pays dividends. Yeah.
For me, some of the hardest time I've lived through, for example, one was let me use Hurricane Gilbert, for example, and the death of my mom. I know that you probably have lived through many hard times. Is there any prominent one that really you look at and say this was tough?
Well, yes. I was very ambitious, but very unable to provide for oneself, or my mom wasn't able to provide for. And living in Jamaica, I always wanted for higher education, but it wasn't possible. And I prayed sincerely to God, and He opened the way for me, miraculously. I don't know if you want to hear any of that.
How long were you homeless?
I am not very long, because when the house fell, and so we went and lived with a lady, a friend of church sister with a friend, and it wasn't convenient. And that's why I had to go back to the country where my father and other grandmother and so on lived. And so I don't know how, I wasn't homeless for long. I don't remember how long my mother was homeless. But that caused sort of some hardships, because that separated me from my mom, you know, then. Yeah. But through it all, I keep mentioning prayer, because that's how I live. I prayed for everything, and God usually answers me unto my prayer.
There is this question I want to ask you, and as we go, you'll understand why I asked you this question. What changed about the world now that you're glad to see? Some things that change about the world that you're glad to see.
Well, what first come to mind, the technology that we're experiencing now, because how difficult it used to be to spread the gospel, and to see that the gospel is being used, being spread abroad by the use of technology. That's one thing that I am pleased about. And we know that the Lord says when the gospel is preached in all the world, then He will come.
That's what the follow up
Yeah.
I was gonna mention. Um, and this question, um, when you answer it, is going to help me, and I'm pretty sure it's going to help other people who are watching. What does a good life to you consist of in your own experience?
Trust in God. Trust in God. Because things that I have experienced, things that I managed to accomplish, I didn't get a good educational start. And where I've worked, things that I've done, it was only through God's help and prayer that has enabled me. I know this of a fact.
And I've asked you before what something about your work that you're glad to see. What changed, or something that changed that you miss?
I often say to folk that I'm like the water in the kidney dish. By that I mean, if you know what a kidney dish is, you pour some water in it, whatever shape it takes, whatever shape the kidney dish is, that's what water takes. And so I don't really, even though I have a hard life, but it never really caused me to feel depressed or anything. I just ride the waves. And that's what I'm thankful to God for that disposition, because nothing roughed me enough, because I trust God. I give my life to God, and said that if this is happening, I just says, okay, I can't lose. When I lose, I win. So I'm always happy.
I'm glad that you said that, because this is the question I'm going to ask you. A lot of people will be surprised, right, with the experience that we have had over the years. How old are you?
How old am I? 90 and a half.
90 and a half.
On the now, right, 90 years. I was born 24th of January 1936, and now is July, so I'm 90 and a half.
And the reason why I'm asking this question, because now we're seeing people way younger than you are not agile and flexible and ambulatory as you are. Are there some things that you have done over the years, apart from trusting in God, that helps you to be this vibrant at 90 years old?
Yeah, I think I love people. I'm kind to people, especially children. And I think if you have a good car and it's serving you, try to maintain it. I believe God has blessed me especially to continue to do what I've been doing. I truly believe that. Because I've had many, many miracles in my life. Anything that I ask the Lord for, invariably, if it's good for me, He's going to give me. If I don't get it, I know, well, it wasn't good for me. And later on, something better happens.
What is your relationship with the Lord like? And I'm asking this question because a lot of people say, yes, I have a relationship with the Lord, but their lifestyle is saying something totally different. What is your relationship with the Lord?
Well, I trust God implicitly. I'll give you a very recent example. I ordered an item on Amazon 2 weeks ago. And to my surprise, when the delivery date I saw the delivery date, it was meant to be on the 13th of August. I will be leaving on the 6th of August. And last week, when I realized that, and my son, they will leave on the 13th of August, so if it delivered then, they wouldn't have received it. And I asked the Lord last week, I said, Lord, when that thing comes, wherever it's coming from, let the person who's handling it put it in such a way that it will get to me before before the 6th of August. I got it yesterday.
And you know, some people would look at it and chuck it up and say, ah, nah, it's Amazon, it's good delivery. But I remember when I was reading the story of Jacob, when Jacob was wrestling with that angel.
Yeah.
And while Jacob was praying for himself and for Esau, an angel went to Esau to
And
make
told him.
sure Esau and then they had a good relationship.
Exactly. Well, this didn't come from Amazon, it came from China.
Um, what, what, what is your daily life like in terms of your time spent with God?
Okay. My first moments that I spent with God, when I become conscious that I'm awake, I thank God for helping me to go through the night. Then my wife and I, we spend maybe half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. We do our Bible study, and in the evening, we do our evening study. But during the daytime, at 12 o'clock, wherever we are, we pray to God, because we thank Him for, I see the curve from 0 to peak to 0. He helped me to reach 12 o'clock. I ask Him, He pushes me up. But when I'm going down to 6 o'clock or whenever, to hold me so I don't fall. So we ask God 3 times a day, most times. And just to, since we're talking about prayer, we fast and pray every first Sunday of each month, just for guidance, just for helping others, cause us to help others, and just really have a good life together.
What do you want people to remember about you?
Well, they've told me, when I celebrated my 90th birthday, I said to them that I thank them for doing my eulogy, for the nice thing they said about me. You know, I really don't know for sure if it's any one thing, but if I can be a help to someone, then my life would have been worthwhile living.
Okay, and on camera, I'm going to tell you that you have been a great help, sometimes visibly and invisibly to
Yeah.
me, you know, because it's even talking with you right now, I consider it a blessing. Is there anything you have never been asked that you wish someone would ask you?
That's a difficult one. Yeah, difficult one. But I'm quite surprised, like you have surprised me, that I've been a blessing to you. A lot of persons have said this to me. Even this week, 3 persons said something about me which I didn't know. And I'll just quickly relate that. A mutual friend met someone who they are interested for life partner. And when they told my wife about this person, they referred to me, the person like me, Keith Wellington. When that same person phoned another person, described this new friend to that person, that friend who is she relating to, oh, that sounds like Brother Wellington. And that happened 3 times. And I don't take these things for granted. I just take it for blessing. And again, if I can be help or blessing to someone, then my life would have been worthwhile living.
Okay. There's one question here that I wanted to ask you. What is one sentence that you would leave with your grandson?
My grandson. One of them is never put off for tomorrow what you can do today. And another is preach Christ at all times, and if necessary, use words.
Okay, and that's for your grandson. And as for a witness to the work from Brother Wellington, the 90 years that you have lived on this earth, what would you want the world to know about your experience and your walk with God? In short.
In short, how do I describe that? Yeah. Oh, here's a man who trusts God and has never been disappointed. And if God will do that for me, He can do it for you.